So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So let's dive into, that event pushes you, right? You now know that's the way you're going. Dive into that first year because you've just been licensed what, a little over a year and a half or so.
yeah,
I'm always curious, getting started, any struggles, instant success, like kind of go through that first year or so of being in the business real quick.
yeah, man. So, after closing on my first property, getting my real estate license, and losing my job all the same week, obviously things were a little hectic and crazy. But it was an exciting time because back to the supporter, my wife believed in me so much. My wife was so helpful, and it just like it gave me the power to go on. She said, "Look, whatever you do, you're going to be successful at it.
Yeah.
Just do it." So we started prepping the other unit for rent. Got some tenants in there. That took a lot of pressure off because I knew I had my mortgage and then some. I worked at Key Bank like 1 or 2 days a week just to make sure I had something. In the meantime,
Right.
I was there like 4 or 5 weeks, so it wasn't like anything major, but
Yeah. Right.
just whatever I had to do. And
Well, I know. I remember we had that conversation, right? Like, is it to move, not to move?
it
You
wasn't the
know.
move. I tried to quit all the time. My wife was like, she was like, "No, dude, I didn't do anything there. I
Right.
literally sat there and I got to work on my lead generation for my real estate business because it was like a temporary COVID position.
Yeah.
And, like, and nobody there knew that I came from like a high level of like corporate sales and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no
Yeah.
one, so they just thought I was like some dude, like, yeah, like, so I'm like, whatever. But yeah, so when I first started, I had instant success for a second, and then I had some pretty rough times. So as you know, I got my first client from an open house. Thank you, Mike, allowing me to do your open house. And one thing I'll say is, like, as a newer agent, you got to be a workhorse and you got to be willing to do things that others aren't. Successful individuals and other people will see that, and you'll get more opportunity that way. So you just have to be a workhorse. And if you're not, and you don't want to go out there and get yourself those opportunities, then you won't get the result after. So I got my first client. Jermaine, my team lead, gave me a lead of his, and so I had two right off the get go, and I was like, "This is awesome." Closed like almost $500,000 in real estate my first month, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool." And then, as you know, John, from being my coach, I didn't have a closing for months.
Yeah.
And it started getting like, luckily, I had got into like stock investing before because I had money, saved up. Not a lot. It wasn't, everyone says save a year or whatever. I didn't have that, but I wheeled and dealed and I made it through it. And something that resonated with me during those times was like having your leadership, Jermaine's leadership, and everything. Just saying, like, dude, you're doing the right stuff, but it takes time. Don't stop because you don't see the result yet.
Yeah.
The consistency is key, and that's one thing I was consistent. So after being consistent and doing everything I see, like literally anything I could do to get business, all of a sudden I had 6 closings in February. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I had so much money come in. I was like, this is so cool. And then I started getting that taste of that, man. And that's really what catapulted my business. And I stayed consistent, stayed lead generating. I helped find my pillars that you talk about. I found what I enjoy doing, and it makes it a lot easier being consistent when you enjoy what you're doing. So
Yeah.
I just honestly, like, I tell people, all I do is live my life, and I base my job around it. And I end up working with people that I love because they're like-minded, and
Right.
it's amazing,
Yeah. Yeah. And just to put it in perspective, I think you got licensed in September,
of
and then
2020.
yep, and then you had your two deals, so those probably closed by October,
October.
November,
Yep.
and then you went November, December, January of no deals. But during that time, right, you were actually working. You were
Working
actually
hard.
out showings, right?
Yeah.
It was they just all lined up closing wise for February. And I remember we had a conversation because you're like, well, shit, they're all in contract. Now what?
Yeah.
And you're, because there's nothing else, right? Like your pipeline was depleted because you had worked and prospected and lead generated, and you were out doing the grind, with the
Right.
showings and all that other stuff. And and I told you, I said, hey, what did you do 30, 60, 90 days ago?
That right
Go
there.
go back and do it again, right? Go
Yeah.
back go back and look at what you did and just repeat it. And the hard part is in real estate, it's not the instant gratification. You truly have to fall in love with the
You
process.
have to.
And that's where what you just said was, when you enjoy doing it your way and the way that you enjoy doing it, then you can be consistent, and then you can love the process.